Level 3.
Fine.
Level 2. I'm watching you on the map as well. She's in that room. She's where you are by the stairs.
Oh, she killed me, mate. Oh, that made me jump.
Oh god, really?
That made me jump. I'm dead. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Is It Worth It? I am joined by my lovely guest, as always, Master of Nothing. Say hello, Masters.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, buddy. How are you doing?
Not bad. Looking forward to talking about our game today. What was it called again?
Today, we're talking about Phasmophobia, Masters. Is It Worth It is a show where we take a game of £20 or less and we basically tell you whether we think it's worth the money or not. And this one has actually taken the internet by storm a little bit. A lot of people are playing this. A lot of people are loving this. So we thought, you know what? Let's take a look. So for those of you who don't know, Phasmophobia is up to 4-person online co-op game in which you're ghost hunters. You are paranormal investigators. It is worth £10.99. So we thought we'd tell you whether we think it's worth it or not. So Masters, why don't you kick us off with the story?
Oh, the story. So, mind you, this game is in early access. So, this is a kind of a game that doesn't really have a story. You are basically paranormal investigators. You are sent out into houses to find out what kind of ghosts are lurking in those premises and then try and lure them out so you can get evidence to find out what type of ghosts they actually are. It hasn't really got a storyline to it, but you can kind of make your own story from it, I would say. So, yeah, not quite a story-led game, but you can make your own kind of little adventures out of it, which I found quite fun. So, what would I give it? I'd probably give it £2.20. Knowing it's early access, I'd give it top marks, because hopefully there will be a story in the future.
Nice. Next, we'll look at gameplay. So, it's actually pretty simple on the surface. Everything's played from a first-person perspective. You play as up to a team of 4, and you go from area to area, checking out to see if ghosts are haunting a house. You use different items such as thermometers to check temperatures of rooms, spirit boxes to see if you can contact these spirits, all the way to an EMF, so it gives you a reading up to 5 to tell you if something serious is going on in the room. Now, a lot of it is very simple, as I said, on the surface, but you've really got to sort of talk with each other and make sure you work in tandem with each other to really use each item to narrow down what ghost you're dealing with. It builds up a massive atmosphere, especially when you're looking at things like handprints using UV light and things like that. It's really quite in-depth at the same time as being simple, and I think that works perfectly for it. So for that, I am going to give it the full £2.20 on this one. So the graphics are pretty simplistic at this point in time. It is in early access, as Masters said, so I kind of can give it a pass on that one. They're not terrible. I'm not saying they're just like really blocky looking characters or anything. There is some smoothness to it. There is detail, especially when it comes to the ghosts. I think the ghosts actually look really good, and they make a good distinction between what kind of stages they're in. And the environments, I think, have seen the most love. Some of the environments and houses, like the big wooden cottage and farm and things, look absolutely brilliant. And not only do they look lived in, they look creepy as hell. And once again, I'm just going to give them the full £2.20 here, because I think they've actually gone the extra mile for something that is in early access at the moment. And I cannot wait to see where this goes.
Yeah, no, I really quite like the graphics, especially the lighting effects. That really brought that kind of horror, kind of spooky feel to it, which really leads really nicely into music and sound effects. So really, there is no music. It is all about the sound effects, and they are very, very spooky. From all the items you use, from your spirit box to speaking to a spirit for it to actually reply, to walking through a corridor and hearing a phone go off, or the water from the taps running, or maybe even a piano starting to play when you're asking if there is anyone there. All the sound effects work really well together. A lot of the time, it is kind of just a lot of background creaking and kind of that dead air that you would expect in kind of a spooky kind of place. And I think it leads it really, really well. So, actually, for what it is, as minimal as it is, I think it gives a really nice effect. So, actually, I think we're going to give it top marks again. That is £2.20. I'm liking this game so far.
I would agree on that one. I've really enjoyed this one. I've enjoyed playing all of it. So, Masters, after the few hours we spent playing it, can you give me one like and dislike of yours about the game?
Well, I think you already mentioned something that I really liked, which was just kind of how simple but in depth. And when we say that, the game is, the tools, what you're actually expected to do is quite a simple premise. But then the depth of it is about understanding what kind of ghosts need what, how should you contact them, how should you approach kind of aggressive or non aggressive ghosts. It's that kind of, I really liked that kind of progression from the very beginning. We actually had no idea what we were doing. And then maybe a few hours later, we had this really quite very succinct way of doing things to try and find the right kind of ghost. I really like that way how we cooperated. So that was a really cool part of it. As for dislike, I didn't see many bugs, but there was like the odd bug. There are certain things that you should be kind of immune to, like if you're being attacked by a ghost, being outside of the house actually makes you immune. You can't be attacked, the ghost can't leave. But there was a few times where I was kind of close to the building and I actually got killed by a ghost, which kind of upset me a little bit, considering that you run through a building screaming, trying to get out to slam the door, and you're fine to just immediately having your neck snapped where it really shouldn't have happened. So I guess this is just early access bugs for me, but yeah, I would say that's something that really kind of annoyed me, when you can actually lose points and cash and items from simple things like that happening when they really shouldn't.
Yeah, I think those are some really good points. One of the things I think I loved most, actually, and that stood out to me most, was just the atmosphere of this game. From start to finish, you ride up in your truck, you leave the truck, it's always raining outside, and they've got some really good weather sounds going on. But then as soon as you enter the building that you're searching, there's just this sudden eerie sound, or it's almost a sound of emptiness of a big building that they've put in. It's really difficult to describe, but it instantly fills you with just this uneasy feeling that something isn't right in this place. And I think they got that spot on. I really do. One thing I disliked, and once again, this could come down to early access bugs, but we had it sometimes where we would put things down to test for what ghost it was. So as a prime example, you get a book and you can put it down in the haunted room in the house, and the ghost may write in it. And certain ghosts write in it and certain ghosts don't. If it writes in it, you can then narrow down your search. There was one instance, we put the book down, we had it haunt and all this stuff, and nothing was written in the book. So we had a choice between two ghosts, one that written the book, one that didn't. So we went for the one that didn't, and unfortunately we got it wrong, because apparently it should have written in the book, but it didn't at that point. And that was quite frustrating, because we had done so well in that round up to that point with doing the items, making sure we didn't die, all that kind of stuff. And just little things like that was probably my biggest dislike. But as I said, those are probably just teething problems, and I really hope going forward they really sharpen that up. So overall, I would say I would give it a £2 on this one. I'm going to drop it by 20p, which gives us a total of £10.80 out of 11. So overall, I would say it's worth it, guys.
Yeah, I'd say it's worth it, considering it's an early access game. The price is well and truly worth it. I'd quite happily spend £20 on this game, knowing that it's had a lot of success. A lot of people are playing it, a lot of people are enjoying it. I actually am really looking forward to seeing what this game becomes. More ghosts, more locations, maybe an upscale in graphics, or maybe just removing a lot of those kind of annoying bugs. I think it's just a great step forward for this. So yeah, absolutely worth it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Big thank you to Masters for joining me on this ghost hunting adventure.
Yeah, really good game. Definitely going to be playing some more of that very soon.
Yeah, 100%. If you've got a game that you want us to review that's £20 or less, hit us up. You can find me at Twitter at DrumForestDrum, or you can find Masters at
Masters O Nothing.
There you go. So you can hit us up there if you've got any suggestions. Did you play this game? If so, I'd love to hear your opinions on this game. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, ring the bell, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy, everybody.